Welcome to A Philosophy of Action. Today I want to talk about demographic collapse. I've talked about this before, but more and more people are starting to realize the problem now, even though, honestly, it was already visible 10 years ago. Back then nobody wanted to talk about it, because it undermined some very deep cultural assumptions about society, about human value, and about what progress is supposed to look like. A lot of the discussion today revolves around one core question. Why should I have children when everything is so difficult? And usually the answer people give is framed in terms of living standards. They say, I don't want to have kids if I can't give them the same standard of life I had or the standard of life I want them to have. So my first question is, what do you actually mean by standard of life? Do you mean happiness, fulfillment, a sense of purpose? Or do you mean material comfort? Their own room, a tablet, a car, constant consumption, permanent comfort? Because if what you mean is primarily material comfort, then I think we need to stop right there and question that assumption. We've built a culture where we quietly assume that more comfort equals a better life. But historically, that's a very strange idea. Struggle, when it's survivable, is what actually forms people. Someone raised in extreme comfort often ends up, well, spoiled. Isn't the nicest word, but you get the point. And I'm not exempt from that either. Most of us in the modern Western societies are to some degree products of an unusual level of comfort, which is historically a rare situation. That level of comfort isn't just from technology, it came from a system that frankly looks a lot like a generational Ponzi scheme, transferring future resources forward, especially through debt and pension systems that assume endless population growth that no longer exists. And here's the uncomfortable part. That setup was always temporary. So instead of asking, can I give my children everything I had? Maybe the better question is, why do I want children in the first place? Is it to live vicariously through them? To give them all the things I didn't have? That might sound nice, but it's also a project. You don't actually know what your children will value yet. What you do know is that in some cases, they'll want to live. And that life doesn't require luxury to be meaningful. Children growing up with fewer material goods don't automatically have worse lives. If siblings share a room, they learn to live with other people. If they don't have much, they learn how to deal with limits. Given where the economy is going now, that might actually be a very useful skill, and it would actually be kind of good for them to have a lower baseline in societal expectations. So the real baseline should be much simpler. Can you keep them alive, safe, and educated? If yes, then the rest, the struggle, the effort, the limits, that's not cruelty, that's life. And with guidance, it's often what makes people stronger, more capable, and more grounded in reality than their parents were, especially with our upbringing. Maybe the right mindset isn't, I can't give them more than I had. Maybe it's, they'll have to overcome more than I did. That might actually make them better equipped for a world they're going to inherit.